Jack Skellington is the Pumpkin King. He and the citizens of Halloween Town are the leaders of the annual October 31st holiday. One day, Jack stumbles on another holiday's town and schemes to take over their special day, which results in the Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm on the couch. All right, this is Ronald, and I am on the couch after watching The Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, the 1993 Disney film? Is this Disney? This 1993 Disney film, The Nightmare Before Christmas, available on Disney+. Written by Caroline Thompson, Michael McDowell, and Tim Burton, directed by Henry Selick, starring Chris Sarandon, Danny Elfman, Catherine O'Hara, William Hickey, Glenn Shadix, Ken Page, Ed Ivory, and Paul Reubens. And as always, for a complete cast listing, you can go to the link in our show notes. It's funny because they always called this Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think this was before the era of directors being the one to put their names at the top of films, because Tim Burton did not direct this one, but it has his fingerprints all over it. I never saw this movie as a child. It came out in 1993, which is ironically the same year that Hocus Pocus came out. Maybe that's not ironic, but incidentally, the same year that Hocus Pocus came out. Another Disney movie, beloved Halloween film. Never saw this. It was in 1993. My parents were not into Halloween, and as a result, Marilyn and I were also not into Halloween. Not saying that I'm into Halloween now, but I'd never seen this movie, and I needed something to review. So why not do this one? And I felt like this is also a very good movie to transition from October into November, being that it's hard for me to tell if this is a Christmas movie about Halloween or a Halloween movie about Christmas. It's probably both and. This movie is set in the fictional Halloween Town, and it is about the Pumpkin King, Jack Skellington, who in Halloween Town is responsible for the celebration of Halloween, and he longs for something new. He feels like there's something missing in his life, and upon this journey of self-discovery, finds Christmas Town and decides that, hey, I want to do Christmas. He then ruins Christmas, and it's funny because and I guess that's a spoiler because it's from nearly 30 years ago. Exactly 30 years ago? Yeah, it's from exactly 30 years ago. This is the 30-year anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's why I'm reviewing this. So forget everything I said before. That's the only reason why I'm reviewing this. And it's funny because I explained that plot, and I remember looking up the time for this movie, and it's an hour and 16 minutes. And I remember thinking, wow, it makes me want to look up movie times and see if it was often that you could get a movie under 90 minutes be considered to be a feature length film, because an hour and 16 minutes, I mean, by the time this movie starts to warm up, it's powering down. It's almost time for it to be over. It is almost completely singing, which makes it feel longer than the hour and 16 minutes for me, because I'm not necessarily a fan of musicals, especially when nearly every line is sung. There are speaking parts, of course, but it's just a lot of singing, like song to song to song. Starts with "This Is Halloween," goes into Jack's lament of feeling something missing. There's not much plot to this movie. I think it was a way to showcase a stop motion animation and to show some very creepy, cool animation things on screen. Other than that, I am not burdened with the nostalgia that comes with watching this movie as a child. So watching it as an adult, there was a lot of WTF moments in seeing, some of the images that they're showing on screen. It starts with everyone in the town singing and dancing "This Is Halloween." And at one point, a talking tree comes up with about 5 skeletons hanging from nooses that are also singing. And I remember thinking, oh, that wasn't your best idea. That I don't know about this one. I don't know what this is supposed to evoke in me. And, you know, in 1993, I don't know how I would have seen that, but like, you know, a 39-year-old Ronald, like 1993, that's 9-year-old Ronald. I probably would have been terrified by some of the images that I saw, in the opening sequence and just kind of in the duration of the film. There's a sequence towards the end of the movie where kind of the antagonist, the real antagonist of the film, is unveiled, and he turns out to be a whole bunch of bugs. And I remember thinking, I could not have, that is heebie-jeebies. I could not, no way in the world I would have been able to handle seeing that. So I guess it's not a bad movie. But again, I'm not burdened with nostalgia. And I know on Rotten Tomatoes, this is a beloved movie. It's 94%, I think, critic score, 92% audience score. So I think a lot of that has to do with the timing of which it came out, the time of which it came out, because this animation for 1993 would have been incredible to see, like just knocked it out of the park. Probably part of the tip of the spear of modern animation and like in the direction that, you know, we were going. I'm trying to remember when Lion King and the rest of like kind of like the really popular high powered mid 90s animation movies came out. But I think this was before a lot of those. I want to say Lion King came out in like 94, 95, 96, something like that. So yeah, this would have been the tip of the spear, and it definitely would have gotten a lot of critical acclaim for that. But like plot wise, meh, not much going on there. And it you know, I guess I like now I'm saying, why does this movie exist? But you can't take out the context of like when it came out and how popular it was at the time and how traditional it's come to for people to watch every year and to be a part of their repertoires. So I can't really judge that in 2023. If they made this in 2023, I'd probably be like, I don't know about this. But it's kind of the same way I felt about Hocus Pocus 2, where I'm just like, I don't know if y'all really needed to do this except for nostalgia's sake. And the thing is, they probably will make a Nightmare Before Christmas 2 at some point. And I don't know. What are y'all what are we gonna do with that? You know what I mean? Like, is it like the continued adventures of Jack Skellington? Like, where does it actually go after that? So, I see why people liked it, and I see why people were attached to it. And I think the animation is great. There's definitely some iconic scenes in there that I thought were very interesting. A lot of imagery and stuff that I had seen memes or still shots of, but nothing that I had been able to like really connect to until I'd watched the movie in its entirety. And I will say, man, I wish they had more hour and 16-minute movies, because that was just, it felt like a treat. Like I looked at my watch and said, do I have time to watch this? And I'm like, I probably don't, because I thought I needed at least 90 minutes. I looked at an hour and 16. I was like, oh, I can squeeze that in real quick. That's easy. That's a lunch break. You know what I mean? A true lunch break, because who's really doing it for an hour? Anyway, yeah. So all of that being said, I think it's a three-star movie. It's a 3-star movie that I probably won't watch again. If it's on, I'll, watch it with anyone else. You know what, this movie kind of reminds me of like the Star Wars Christmas special, or kind of any of those like one-off, like Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch. That's not the name of the movie. Charlie Brown Christmas. Just those movies that like, it'll come up. I know it comes up again for a lot of people, and I know y'all are like, I already do that. Yeah. But I'm saying like, this is perfectly in that vein. This is perfectly in that vein of film. And if that's why you're watching it every year, it makes sense. But like, I'm not going to get into arguments with people about whether or not this is like cinema or any of that stuff, except for the animation, which was, I mean, it's fantastic. They did a really good job. For them to have done that in 1993, I wonder how long it really took them to do this, because stop motion is not a game. So yeah, I give it 3 stars, 3 of 5 stars, but I won't watch it again. Yeah, so nice little transition from Halloween into Thanksgiving and then Christmas, but mostly Christmas. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh, It's Big Ron Studios. Alexandra Ketch of Bias Studios mixes the show. Thank you, Alex. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about The Nightmare Before Christmas, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads at OHitsBigRound. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Round Studio shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Round Studios and on Twitter at Oh It's Big Round Stew. That's STEW. Leaving the Theater will be back soon, but until then, I'll be here on the couch.